Hello and welcome to my channel. And today I thought we'd do some hobby machining, some lathe work on my mini lathe. Let's get into that. The lathe work I'm talking about is on my variable speed unit. What I wanted to do today was continue on with my drivetrain. And this is the next step, putting this in underneath this pulley. I don't know if everyone has seen my past videos with this, but I bought this over 40 years ago. I put it together in my first episode of Big Motor Upgrade, just to make sure that it worked, that it would open up, it would change the speed on here. And that all worked. But now that I'm trying to put it together, I looked at it a little closer, and this thing needs some work. It's really worn out. The bushings or something is worn out. I need to take this apart. I'm thinking it's just the bushings. But here, take a look at how wobbly this thing is. If you look at it right there, you could really see how it's wobbling. I think what I'm going to do is take this off and measure those bushings and see how much it's out. I have to take this off. This is not the way they're supposed to be. I really doubt that Shopsmith put some nuts, washers, and a lock washer on there. I'm going to have to build something for that also. Not today, but I do have to do that. Yeah, it says barely comes off of here. Okay. This don't look bad. The shaft don't really look worn. $562, 560, 9/16. There are some scrape marks on here. Like somebody tried to get that off at one time. Let's see. 593. I'd say it's a bit worn out. These look like flanged oil light bushings. Probably need to run down to the hardware. I'm not going to order these online. It'll take forever to get here. And I wanted to get into this. So I think I'm going to measure what the OD is on these. The only way I know how to do it, being old school, is to take some old school calipers. $751. Okay, they're 3/4 inch. And I wonder how long they look about an inch long. Okay, so I need to get some flanged oil light bushings, an inch long, 3/4 inch OD with about a 1 inch diameter flange. 9/16. Let's see if the hardware store has something like that. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back from the hardware. All I could find in an oil impregnated flanged bushing, 3/4 inch diameter, is a 1/2 inch long by a 1/2 inch diameter. I thought I cut the flange off of two of them, push that in, and then push this one in. It'll be the same thing. It'll be 1 inch long. And then after I push them in, I'll bore it out to 9/16. I looked that up, and from what I could find from engineering websites and stuff, is you can bore or ream or cut a oil light bushing, or oil impregnated bushing, as long as you don't smear the cut where you're closing all those pores. I think I can do that. So the first thing I need to do, seeing I have these, is knock these bushings out of here. Okay, I've got a couple of blocks, so I've got at least 3 points sitting here where I'm going to rest this pulley. And I don't have any kind of puller, so I'm going to try to knock these out. Yeah, I thought it was 1 inch long. Like I said, I'll just take this flange bushing and I'll cut the flange off the other one to make it 1 inch long. Okay, let's get the other side on there. Okay, now let's take this thing apart. There's not a lot to this. Not really sure why that's not coming off. Oh, I see. There's set screw marks on here. I'm going to have to stone this thing. I just got a regular carborundum stone, tool room stone, but I've always called them. Yeah, that's all it took. Might as well do the other side too. All right. I guess the next thing would be is get into the lathe and turn this flange off of here on 2 of them. Press them in and then put this whole thing in the lathe and see if I can bore all the way through. If I can't, I'm going to have to bore from one side, turn it around, and bore the other side. Let's do this. Okay, put the bushing in the lathe. I set a dead stop right here. That's so I don't run into my jaws. And I'm just going to cut this flange off. Nothing special. Okay, let's do this. This thing is wobbling all over the place. I know. I kind of thought it was going to do that. I have a 1/2 inch dowel pin. And what I'm going to do, put the dowel pin into my drill chuck, which is pretty well centered. That's back asswards, man. Okay. I don't know if this is going to work, but sure looks a hell of a lot better. Okay, let's cut this flange off. Okay, I've got 96 to take off of there to bring it to 750. Okay, let's do this. Well, I'm going to take a file, hit the end of it, radius it off a little bit. Okay, I'm going to get the other one right away, and then we'll press these things into the mating part for this. Let's do that. All right, I prepped all the bushings. I turned a little lead on these. I brought them down to about 1,000 under this, maybe size to size. But anyway, I need to press this in 3/8 of an inch past this surface. So I made a tool. I turned it down where I could push this in and it will bottom out when this bushing is 3/8 of an inch in, which gives me room to push this one in. And that will just bottom out on this flange. That's the plan anyway. So let's get over to the press and do this. Looks like it did it. Okay, they're both in. All four of them are in. We need to go over to the lathe and bore this out. It doesn't look like I have a boring bar long enough, so I'm going to have to do one side, turn it over, and do the other side. Bring that to 9/16. Okay, let's do that. I touched off. I have a dead stop set for 1.25 inches, and I am ready to bore this out. Let's do this. Okay, that sounded like it passed the bushing. Let's take a quick measurement to see where I'm at. It looks like it cut all the way around. I'm going to use a telescoping gauge to get my first dimension. For people who have never seen a telescoping gauge, this is why they call it telescoping. It pops out, telescopes out. If you've never seen them used, what you do is you push them in all the way. There's a lock right here. Push them in all the way, lock it. Put it in your diameter on a slight angle. Open it. It telescopes out. You tighten it back up. And you slowly sweep the diameter. There's a radius on the tips of each one of these telescoping parts, and it self-centers. So as you sweep it, it goes to the largest diameter. You make sure it's locked after that. Without pressing tight. 507. You mic over it. Okay. Let's do this. Okay, I'm going to have to turn it around and I'll see how that goes. Let's do this. That should be it. Right there. All right. This should slip right in. And it does. I think that's beautiful. Okay. What I need to do now is take this thing, put it all back together, and then I can continue on with the drivetrain. This part goes underneath all of this, and the belt that goes from this large pulley goes right to here, the adjustable pulleys. But we're not going to do that today. Like I said, I need to make another washer or nut that goes on here. I was going to make it with a nylock nut instead of a lock washer. And then I need to start making the mount that this goes on. But that's all in the next episode. So I think this video is coming to an end. So I'm going to say till next time, enjoy.